Hey everybody, Rob Maurer here, and today we're going to be talking about a new report on the Tesla Semi. We also have news of delayed deliveries on the brand new Model S. We'll talk about the details behind that. Then we'll talk some more about full self-driving. I've got a couple of polls that I want to go through, and an update from Morgan Stanley on the subscription offering, and we've got a couple other stories as well. So a quick look at the stock to start things off. Tesla today finishing up 2.2% to $660.50. In what was a very strong macro environment, the S&P, Dow, and NASDAQ all finishing up about 1.5 percentage points on the day. Alright, so let's take a look at this Tesla Semi report. This is from Electrek this morning. Headline reads, Tesla Semi electric truck is finally about to go into production. Just for a couple items of context here, the last official communication we got from Tesla on the Semi was in the Q1 earnings report back in late April. Tesla said that Tesla Semi deliveries will also begin in 2021. So that's the last we've heard from Tesla, but Electrek had also reported in March that Tesla was building a production line for the Semi at Giga Nevada, intending to produce about 5 semis per week by the end of the year. Now, Tesla hasn't officially disclosed where they are going to produce the Semi in volume at. On their latest annual capacity update in the Q1 earnings report also, they said that the Semi location is still TBD, but the prevailing thought seems to be that it will start at Giga Nevada with this early stage production. They'll learn from that, and then eventually make the Semi in Texas. Anyway, back to the Electrek report. The new information here is that, quote, now sources familiar with the matter told Electrek that the drive axle production line is ready and the general assembly line is going through its final debugging before starting production, end quote. So that's a nice update to hear on continued progress for the Semi. In terms of timeline information, I'm not sure that gives us a whole lot that we didn't already know. I think that probably still just puts them on track for a few deliveries this year. So I'd expect when we get the Q2 shareholder letter on Monday, it'll probably just maintain that same line of Tesla deliveries expected to begin this year. And that's probably all the information that we're going to get, although maybe they'll talk about it on the earnings call. I have seen a bit of a flurry of excitement from people kind of combining the Cybertruck rumors that we had over the weekend and yesterday and the Semi news that we had today and thinking, oh, that must be a great sign for 4680 production. It must be ready to go. And that's why we're hearing about the Semi and the Cybertruck. I would personally be very, very careful about drawing a conclusion like that. I think this is more of just a coincidence in terms of the timing of some information happening to come out or rumors or whatever. So I'm definitely not taking any of these things that way. And remember, Tesla has been saying deliveries this year for the Semi for the last couple of quarters. All right, next up here, we've got a little bit of information on the brand new Model S. So I've been reading on the Tesla Motors Club forum over the last couple of days. There is currently a containment hold on new deliveries, I believe for both the long range and the Plaid Model S. I was able to confirm that there is in fact a containment hold, and it sounds like it's a little bit more than 1,500 vehicles, but this is generally not something that should really be very concerning. Usually these are resolved pretty quickly. Usually it's just some sort of quality check, something like that. From the TMC thread, sounds like it might even be just a software thing. So yes, obviously a little bit annoying for those new owners that are hoping to take delivery and then get hit with this small little delay on top of other delays, but something I do expect Tesla to be able to resolve relatively quickly. And because, of course, we are at the beginning of Q3, shouldn't have too much impact on the quarterly numbers. I would say, though, that number of vehicles suggests pretty good production rate, I would say. I don't know when the containment hold went in place, but it seemed to pop up in discussion kind of this weekend, so it might only be, I don't know, a week or two of production there, which I think would be a pretty good rate. So we'll keep an eye out for any updates on the status of that containment hold. If you do hear anything, feel free to let me know. But next up here, we've got an updated note from Morgan Stanley today. Adam Jonas sharing his and some of their investors' initial reaction to the FSD subscription offering. So the note here is Tesla FSD subscription, 3 key thoughts. They are maintaining their overweight rating and their $900 price target, no change there. As for those 3 key thoughts, first is significance. Jonas writes, quote, we find very few investors explicitly model or value the recurring software revenues Tesla is currently deriving from its installed base of more than 1.5 million vehicles today, which we expect to grow to 30 to 40 million vehicles by 2030, end quote. This, I think, is what's exciting, is that I would agree not many investors are modeling for that. And remember how we always talk about analysts needing some sort of baseline to build their models off of? Well, the FSD subscription is going to create that baseline, and even if it's not driving huge revenue or profit today, it's going to give analysts a starting point that they can build off of and say, okay, the take rate's probably going to increase over time as Tesla improves the features. That increases the revenue and profit per vehicle. And then, oh, by the way, Tesla's increasing their fleet in total by this amount every year. And as we've talked about before, that can pretty quickly get you in a place where Tesla's valuation should exceed $1 trillion, potentially without even accounting for any sort of robo-taxi type of revenue, where it's just people paying for this FSD subscription, even if it's not truly level 5 where it can go out and just make money on its own without a human. Anyway, second point here from Jonas is price. He says, quote, the monthly subscription upgrade fee of $199 is substantially higher than we would have expected. The $10,000 upfront price for FSD implies around $56 per month over a 15-year useful life of the vehicle, 180 months. We have assumed Tesla derives $100 per month of average revenue per unit per monthly active user by 2026 or 2027 for 60% of its vehicle park. This estimate includes autonomy, connectivity, performance enhancements, charging, maintenance, and other services. End quote. If you're not sure what park means in that context, you're not alone. I had to look it up. Basically just means Tesla's total fleet. So what Morgan Stanley is saying, okay, $100 per month for 60% of Tesla's total fleet. Now that the price has come in higher than what they expected, they'll probably increase that average revenue per unit, but apply it to fewer monthly active users. Anyway, lastly, Jonas talks about impact, saying, quote, we believe it is possible that the value of Tesla's recurring software revenue may exceed the value of its hardware business. Over time, we anticipate a wide-ranging suite of services rolled out to Tesla users and increasing financial disclosure from the company to help transition analysis and stock coverage away from traditional auto analysts on both the buy side and sell side towards tech/platform analysts. In our opinion, this transition can help drive a further re-rating of shares over time, end quote. Totally agree on that. Jonas has actually been saying that for quite some time now. And if you think of analysts like, Ryan Brinkman at JP Morgan, he only models out Tesla for, I think, 2 years. And sure, for a legacy automaker, something like that might be okay. But for a company like Tesla, it just falls woefully short. That's been the case for a long time, but if Tesla starts bringing in the subscription recurring revenue and starts disclosing that and separating it out on their financial reports, Jonas's point here is that that could encourage a shift in coverage towards analysts that already have more experience modeling that type of business. So I think it's a good point, and I agree with Jonas on that one. While we are on the topic of FSD subscriptions, I did run a couple of polls today on Twitter just to kind of try to get a sense of reaction from people that had not previously purchased FSD, owners that had not previously purchased. Obviously, these are just Twitter polls, so it's not anything super scientific here. Take it for what it's worth. But the first question was, Tesla owners who had not purchased FSD before last Friday, what action have you taken since the FSD subscription was announced? Purchased FSD, subscribed to FSD, or neither? Then I do have a see results button there for people that don't fall into that group. So I've excluded the see results option in Excel here, and you can see that 16% since Friday have actually purchased FSD, 14% have subscribed, and 70% have done neither. So definitely some interesting results there. I think 16% actually having purchased FSD since Friday might be a little bit surprising. Now again, this is Twitter. People may have just misread the question, and if they'd already purchased FSD, just selected that box. But the results do suggest that at least some owners were kind of on the fence waiting for a subscription to drop, see what the pricing is, and then make a decision between the two options. It's probably not 16% of people, but even a couple of percentage points is thousands of people. There may be a bit of a similar effect on new orders as well, with people now knowing what the pricing is for the subscription option, saying, oh, well, it just makes more sense to buy it up front, rather than holding out hope for a cheaper subscription option later on. As for the 14%, they're saying that they have subscribed to FSD. I don't know, it's a pretty good number, maybe a little bit smaller than I would have expected, but I do think that's going to increase significantly when version 9 or whatever version actually ends up rolling out that has city streets. And then unfortunately, just because of the nature of the poll, this doesn't really get a good handle on if people would subscribe for a limited period of time and then cancel, maybe if they have a road trip or something like that, or if it's people in it for the long haul. Anyway, as for the 70% that said neither, I did have a follow-up question. Which action do you think you'll most likely take in the future? More likely to subscribe, more likely to purchase, more likely to do neither, and then see results. Again, excluding the see results portion in Excel, looks like we're at 43% would be more likely to subscribe, 31% more likely to purchase, and then about 26% more likely to do neither. So that kind of supports the idea that people are just waiting and seeing still. In that first question, you've got about 30% of the people saying that they did make a decision to either subscribe or purchase. And then in the second question, of that 70%, 75% of them do believe that they're more likely to purchase or subscribe than to do nothing. So again, just the limitations, I'm not reading too much into the results there, but I think they're interesting, and I do think that second set of responses is pretty encouraging. Of course, they should be properly discounted because this is a Tesla Daily Twitter poll, so presumably people that are responding to this are probably more interested in FSD in the first place. Next up here, and I do have to apologize for not including this earlier in the episode, this is coming out as I am recording, but Elon updating us on the status of the Supercharger network, replying to Tesla Tino here, who was bemused about the fact that a lot of people are criticizing Tesla for having the Supercharger network be proprietary to their own vehicles, even though Tesla had taken that burden of getting the infrastructure going by themselves without much support. Elon replying, saying, quote, We created our own connector as there was no standard back then and Tesla was only maker of long-range electric cars. It's one fairly slim connector for both low and high-powered charging. That said, we're making our supercharger network open to other EVs later this year." End quote. Then replying to a question about if it would be open to other EVs in all countries or just specific countries, Elon saying, quote, "Over time, all countries." End quote. So we've been hearing that rumor for a long time. There is finally some confirmation, though of course we still need a lot of details to really understand how this is going to work. Hopefully Tesla will share more details soon. I do hope that however Tesla decides to structure it, that they are getting some sort of fair return. The supercharger network is a big competitive advantage, and it's something Tesla has invested a lot into, not only invested a lot into, but took the risk on ahead of others. So hopefully any partnership rewards that. But however the structure ends up looking, it definitely seems like a move very much in support of Tesla's mission of accelerating the advent of sustainable transportation and energy. All right, last couple of quick updates here. A listener has let me know that the price for the Model S long range in Poland has increased by about the equivalent of $5,000 US. Tesla, of course, making a similar price adjustment in the US a week or two ago. So figured I'd share that and encourage people to check and see if their country has increased over in Europe. Let me know in the comments on that. And then lastly, Greenland's government has announced that they will be suspending all oil exploration off of Greenland, saying, quote, "The future does not lie in oil. The future belongs to renewable energy. And in that respect, we have much more to gain." End quote. Couldn't have said it better myself. Very prescient comments there from Greenland, and I think a perfect way to wrap it up. So, as always, thank you for listening. Make sure you're subscribed and signed up for notifications. You can also find me on Twitter at Tesla Podcast, and I'll see you tomorrow for the Wednesday, July 21st episode of Tesla Daily. Thank you.